Hey guys, it's Brijette with Sandy Seed Company, and today I'm in this beautiful garden and I'm going to be talking about New Mexican chilies. Wait, New Mexican? Ha! That's hilarious. Sorry. Pregnancy brain. New Mexico chilies, okay? Chilies that either have originated in New Mexico or basically they're not hot chili peppers, but they're definitely not bell peppers. They're somewhere in between. There's a few things that you really need to know to be successful at growing them in zone 9 and 10, and in this video I will jump into all of it. Now please don't go through all the effort of starting a pepper seed, transplanting it out, having these big beautiful plants, and then getting peppers that are ruined because of a very common mistake. I'm going to go into that in this video so that you can get amazing, beautiful, edible peppers from your garden that you can enjoy all summer long. Okay, so let's get into it. You want to grow New Mexico chilies in your garden. How do you do it? So we have some beautiful plants here that were planted out. These seeds were started around March, and the way that you start pepper seeds is you're typically going to start the seed in a starter pack or a starter cell. And that's because they need a lot of heat to grow and a very controlled environment to have success. They're not typically direct sown. Now I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty on how you actually sow the seed for the plant because we have a 3-part video on exactly that. We will link to that in this video description so that you can watch it. But once you start your plants, you're going to want to plant them out into a garden, and there's some key factors that are going to make you successful. Number 1, full sun. I know it's hard in zone 9 and 10 because we're so hot, and if you're a beginner gardener you might think, ooh, I need to give these guys a little bit of shade. That's not the case. They need full sun, no shade, so that it can photosynthesize and give you tons and tons of peppers. Peppers are a tropical plant. They do love the heat. The hotter it is, the more moisture they're going to need because you're going to lose more moisture from the soil even quicker. So these are on irrigation. If you don't have irrigation, then you're going to want to hand water regularly and consistently. You'll see that we have nice thick mulch on top. The mulch helps to keep the soil temperature relatively stable and it holds in moisture. It's also really good for microbes. If you've watched my videos, you know I'm kind of obsessed with mulch. I won't go on to my mulch stories, but it's a really amazing thing to ensure that your soil in zone 9 and 10 can hold enough moisture for your plants to be happy. Now, like I said, full sun. We've got a little bit of space in between the plants. You don't want them super crowded together, but as you can see, this is not a very big bed, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5 plants right here. So you can get a lot out of a relatively small space. Now, some other things to remember is you might need to stake them, especially if you have bigger pepper varieties. So these guys here, like, look at these, they're huge. And they can easily fall over and snap the actual plant. You can see here I've got a little stake inside that's keeping it from, oh, and see, I didn't tie it, so, oh, there it goes. Well, there's a good example of exactly what happens. The plant would look like that if I didn't have this stake. Now, obviously I need to tie it up, which I will, but here is an example of why you need to stake it. If these chili peppers are sitting on the ground, what's gonna happen is an insect's gonna come and nibble on it, and then they're gonna start crawling inside of it, and you'll actually have little rotten ends. So you need to put a stake in. Preferably you could put a stake in when the plant is small. If you wait till the plant gets big and you come in here and you start jabbing stakes into the ground, it's not the end of the world, but you are going right through the root ball, and that is kind of damaging. So try to stake them when they're little. Interestingly, pepper plants do great in tomato cages. You know I hate tomato cages because very few actual tomatoes grow well in a tomato cage, but a pepper would do okay in it. So if you wanted to use something like that or a little bamboo stake, you can. Now, the other thing to think about with peppers is they can benefit from some pinching or topping. And basically what you're doing is you're telling the plant, like, hey, I don't want you to grow one single stem that goes up really tall and then you put a pepper on it and you snap. I want you to be a wide, bushy, healthy plant. So when it's really little, and let's see if I can find an example here. Let's see. Down in here, when it's really little, this middle part actually got pinched, which is what encourages it to grow out all of these side stems and give you a bushier plant. Now, it's not required, but especially on a pepper plant that has a lot of peppers on it. Like, this is a great example. If you let this plant just grow one single stem. It surely is gonna snap, it's gonna break, and then you're gonna be really disappointed when your pepper plant is basically destroyed. Now, please don't make the mistake of growing beautiful pepper plants all season to only get peppers that look like this. If you have this happening on your pepper, it's a telltale sign of sunscald. This happens just like we get sunburnt, your peppers can get sunburnt. They have soft, tender skin, and when the sun is just radiating on it, especially in zone 9 and 10, you can get this burning that happens. Now, they're still edible, but what happens is this becomes a compound issue. They burn, and then an insect comes and takes advantage of it and chews through that, especially if you have Japanese beetles. Some other insects will do the same thing. And then they start eating the inside of the pepper and it starts rotting. And you go to pick it and you're like, ew, what is this soupy, disgusting mess? Well, it was your pepper. And this is actually very preventable. So sunscald is gonna happen from too much sun. So you have two choices. Either let the plant get really bushy to try to protect it, but even still, like we haven't pruned this plant and this part of it just happens to be sticking out on the west side of the house. So it's hot westerly sun, which is the harshest sun for a plant to have. And you can see right here where it got burnt. There's an easy solution, and I talk about it in my bell pepper video. It is shade cloth. Shade cloth is basically a savior on our farm and in our garden. We use it for peppers, we use it for a host of vegetables. The key thing to know about shade cloth is not all shade cloth is created equal. You want to get 40% shade cloth, meaning that it's not going to block out any more than 40%. And it would be preferable if it's not knit, like what we make, because then you can cut it. But basically you can't use like awning cloth or, you know, what you would use on a patio. It needs to be just 40%. What you can do to prevent this from happening, as soon as the days start to get really warm and hot, so we're going into July, you can put these on your plants either by putting some type of, you can use a stake, it doesn't matter. If you have some type of tomato cage, you can use that. You don't want the shade cloth to be sitting on it and breaking it. You basically just want to drape it over. Doesn't have to be rocket science. Something like this is fine. And it doesn't have to live on there permanently, but what it does need to do is block out that super hot westerly sun from burning your pepper plants when they're in their prime. This is especially important if you want to get those peppers to turn a certain color. If you have beautiful peppers that are green and you want them to turn red, and you're waiting for them to look like what they look like on the pack, you have to give them this little bit of protection, because as they turn red, their skin is going to get a little more soft and be more and more likely to burn from the sun. Okay, so we have another pepper over here, Big Jim, which is kind of funny because it's actually smaller than the other ones, but that's just because when it was planted. But something that I want to point out here is, look at that. This actually isn't sunscald, but it is what I'd mentioned before. Your peppers are sitting on the ground, they're more likely to get rot on the end. It just starts to kind of lead up the pepper. Now this is still edible, but it is a bummer. And especially if you're waiting for that to turn red, it's more likely to rot on the plant. So if you have peppers that are sitting on the ground, trim them off, eat them green, you know, just kind of sacrifice them so that the other ones can be really happy. Peppers in general, you can eat them when they're green or when they've changed a color, like these guys were waiting for them to turn red. Their flavor will be much better if we wait, but you can absolutely start eating some now, and especially when you're doing something like this, eating this guy, because it's a double benefit. We're getting it up off the ground, we're removing it from the plant, and we're giving more energy to the other peppers. All right, so this is one of my favorite parts of the video. It's where I ask you to subscribe to our channel. I'm not just asking you because I want to have a bunch of followers. I'm asking you because I want to be a part of your gardening journey. I want to make you a better gardener, and I want to learn from you. I don't know everything, trust me, I make mistakes all the time, and people actually comment on our videos and tell me that that was wrong. I love that. That's the community that YouTube is based on, and I want you to be a part of ours. So subscribe to our channel, especially if you're in zone 9 and 10 and you're a beginning gardener. And I would also love to know, are there varieties of peppers that you just love? Please tell me those varieties so I can try them in my garden and maybe they'll end up in our catalog. So let's actually talk about some varieties of New Mexico chilies. So this is the Joe E. Parker pepper, and it was developed at the University of New Mexico. Amazing, tasty pepper. And then we also have the Big Jim, also a New Mexico pepper that is really big, tasty, just a little bit of heat, nothing crazy. What makes these peppers so fun is they're not really a bell pepper and they're not a super chili pepper. They're great for cooking in a wide range of recipes, and they have a place in your garden.